that was never as bad as when I was a Waffle House waitress or TGI Fridays, then that's your standard as what's bad. And you start to ignore all the minor, like, Me Too moments where people are expecting you to do this and do that and do that. And that becomes a norm.
Right.
So the idea of having to do something because of your looks, or expecting, from the male's point of view, expecting someone to do something because of your looks or because of your, that is established in the restaurant industry.
Right. That is.
Or the service industry.
That was mind-boggling. Because I literally haven't thought about it like that. And
I was
you
shook.
and that doctor are generous tippers. And
always.
I feel so, and I feel like I've gotten better, you know, from being with Seth, and I guess
Val just hands me the check. He was like, "You do it," because he doesn't understand it. But I'm like, I get worked up if he's like trying to not tip, because I know I work at TGI Fridays.
I never don't tip. It's just
how much. Yeah,
and sometimes it is hard for me to gauge how much a person deserves.
Right.
Because I have a standard in my head of what should happen. If you're catering to my babies, I got you. Like, because if you're catering to them, that means I don't have to. So you just took something off my plate for me to do. So I appreciate that. So,
but then when you look at, like, to me, if you are a good person, like if you are working hard, if you are doing what you need to do, like I feel like you deserve this much. And that's just because I've served in that position before and I've understood. And to me, as a Black woman and a Black family, when we go into a restaurant, I've seen the other end where it's like, oh, it's Sunday, they're going to tip 10% because they've said we don't give God more than 10%, so we're not going to give the waiter more than 10%. All of that, and I'm like, no, and no, you're wrong. You don't do
all those thought processes.
Right. Yeah. Like, I worked in the industry where people have said that to waiters and waitresses, and it's like, so then you get poor service for Black people because they already think you're not going to tip them.
I agree with that, too. We go through that as well, that thought process.
So I literally feel like 20% is that's my standard. If I can't afford 20%, I'm not going out to eat.
Right.
Period. So please, if you're listening, if you don't feel like you can tip, if you're feeling cheap on the tip because you don't have enough money, don't go. Just don't go. Or make sure when you're thinking about what you're paying for, that you're including the extra amount that costs to serve people, because it's not free. You're not at McDonald's. You're not at Golden Corral where you go and get your own meal.
Right.
Like,
did you say Golden Corral?
Golden Corral. I hate Golden Corral so much. But you go and you get your own meal. So, like, literally, it's a workaround. That's what Val says. My,
workaround.
Yeah,
that's
world famous calls it a workaround. He's like, if you're working, then that's a different thing. But if it's set up where someone is coming and serving you, you already better calculate that in your money.
Yeah.
And it's sad, but I remember working there, and I remember Sundays. No one wants to work Sundays in the South.
Really?
Because these big parties come in and they don't tip.
That's crazy. I've never thought of that.
Yeah, it's sad and scary, and it's true. And I feel bad I felt bad being a Black woman in that arena and not being able to defend, like, what they, like, all that. I felt bad. I just felt like from now on, whenever I go out, I'm going to tip, because I'm not about to be that person.
So that story definitely inspired you.
Yeah.
So what else inspired you to make next steps? And what next steps are you trying to make?
Girl, so elections are coming up in May. And remember when they asked all of us to stand up if you were running for office, if you were supporting someone in office?
Yeah.
And, it was the panel with Kamala Harris, the mayor of Compton, Mississippi. Like, there was so many powerful Black women on that panel hosted by Angela Rye.
I went from Alabama,
who was like Auntie Maxine, for real.
Yes.
So they were like, basically, you need to be a constituent, which is different from a voter because a constituent holds the representative, the senator, whatever, accountable. So you don't just go and vote. You literally are in consistent contact with the person who's representing your area to find out if the things that if your grievances are being met, if you're addressing issues that are going on in your own community. Like, you have to be more active in your community, and that will, as a whole, be better for every community, because if everyone is active, then everyone's representative is active and everyone's senator is active. So not only should you vote for president when those big things come out, you need to be voting for these local state representative, state senator, and know who they are.
That's what matters most, though.
Side note, because my friend Erica Thomas is running for state representative of District 39 in Georgia. She's great. I love her. We're going to support her in that. She told me that certain people actually name their children the same name as them so that when they pass on, their child can run in that same name and no one would know who's running.
What?
So they sit up there and vote for the same name over and over and over.
Because that's their habit.
And they have no idea
that it's a new generation.
Yep. And then that next person can name their kid that same name. And guess what? These dummies are going to the precinct and voting for that same name over and over. You don't know what they're doing. You don't know what their viewpoints are. You don't know what they're saying. You don't know who they are. It's so easy like that. These politicians have y'all fooled.
Is crazy.
And I see it. I'm not going to say no names, but this dude named his daughter something like his name, and she's running in District 39 in that same area. And this is the school I teach, the area I teach in, not my own district.
Girl, my mouth is dropped.
Every time I see that sign, I'm like,
Bush.
That. Some people, they're like, I know Bush. Let me vote for Bush.
That's it.
So that's how you keep all the stuff in home. So the mission is that they charged us with taking action. Now, we have Stacy Abrams, who is running for governor, she could possibly be the first black governor in the United States, a woman, in Georgia. And she is running right now.
Yes.
So we literally, I know me and you have decided that we would support her in any kind of way. We've signed up. I've signed up for the listserv and all those things of when we can do that. So that'll be coming up. That'll be coming up.
You already signed us?
We did. Yeah, I'll let you know. Don't worry.
I know.
Now, Erica Thomas is running. May 22nd is her first runoff. And she texted me and said, it's District 39, and my high school is that district. I don't live in that district, but that's where I've been working for the last 14 years. So she was like, can you get some of your students to help me out? And I was like, sure. Community service hours, whatever.
And are they registered to vote?
Well, they're young, so they can help hold signs if they're not.
But if they're 18. Thought you had a group that was seniors this year.
Yeah, I had them first semester, so I don't really have, the access I have to them is like limited. So the ones that I'm cool with, yes. The other ones, whatever. Like, I'm coaching volleyball. I have my volleyball team sign up and be like, look, y'all are about to mobilize and be out here holding signs for Erica. Like, it's
that would be cool, though. And that gets them at least, even if they've never thought of it, it gets them involved in politics to a certain degree, which might make them more curious and interested.
And they can meet a real politician. I told them, listen, you can express whatever you want to her. She is your voice. These politicians work for you. You don't work for them. So if you want something to be said on a higher level, you have to be able to contact the person who's representing you. They don't understand that. They just think, so many of my students, I don't do politicians. What do you even know about that?
What does that mean?
That's crazy. So
that's the new saying, like, I don't do college?
Like, I think that in this climate, A lot of our students are opting out of politics because it's a difficult discussion.
That makes sense.
And so I was able to get people signed up to help her on that. But what really like rang true and made me like so worked up was my Hispanic students. In my fourth period class, I have maybe 6 African American and the rest are Hispanic. Mm-hmm. And when I announced to them the opportunity to talk to a politician, be able to voice your opinion, all of the Black kids came up and signed up, and not one of the Hispanic kids even made a move. At that point, I was like, we need to talk. Like, I stopped the whole lesson and was like, listen, why do you feel like you don't need to say something to a politician who's representing you? And the statement came up, that's not representing us. We're not legal. We don't have a voice. Like, it was all of that came out. I got so mad. I said, DACA? Do you know what that is? They're like, yeah. I said, that's directly affecting you. The wall, that's affecting you. The president is like, you should be more fired up than any student in this room to say something and be represented. I was so, like, I was blown away at the fact that they felt like, I'm not legal, I can't say something.
Yeah, they probably feel hopeless, though, and helpless.
Helpless and hopeless. But they listened when I was, like, screaming at them, like, listen, your voice matters. And there's legal students in the class too. Mm-hmm. And their comments were, we stay out of politics. I said, that's the problem. You're staying out of politics. You cannot be a voice for your cousin. You have a cousin who's illegal? Yeah. You can't even be a voice for them because you're staying out of politics. Like, why are you taking a back seat to what's going on over here when you should be the one? If you can't say something, then you need to say something for them.
Right.
It was so, like, they were looking at me like, why is she yelling? Why is she so mad? And I was like, listen, everybody needs to say something.
You scared those babies.
They were like, why is she talking about Hispanics? I was like, but you know what's at stake. You know how serious this is. You know your uncle who is being deported. You know your brother could be deported. Like, you know. So why would you take a back seat to something like that? And they feel like if they speak up, they may get deported themselves.
Wow, that's so sad. I understand you got angry, but it really is sad.
It's like, why are you not using your voice? Which is all of what they talked about at the Women's Summit was using your voice to tell a story.
Tell your story.
Your story is different from mine. I can't tell your story. You have to be able to tell it. If you feel like you're scared, tell this state representative. She can go to the state and actually share whatever it is. But if you're not saying anything, you're not helping, you're not holding a sign, you're not even involved, then your voice is not going to be heard. Which rings true for us. Like, I feel like this election, it's time for us to really
take charge. And really be involved.
Actively involved, not just by voting.
No, yeah. Actively, pre and post and during, and
I feel like it's time for people to do, not just click, not just show up,
not just share,
but actually like do some things. That was the charge at the summit, was 1 million things. Was it 1 million things? It was like they were giving up so many actions to take.
Yeah.
We couldn't even keep up.
Yeah.
If we could just
notes from... I was like, I got to write that website down so I can go sign up for that. I got to write that website down.
Absolutely. So if we could take one thing from it and actually act
1 million actions, I think it was called.
Yep. Mm-hmm. If we could take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things, do it and follow through on it and like actually see an implementation of a change that you want to make. Even if it's in your personal life, it's in your public life, it's political, like whatever it is, act on it, not just sit by.
And back to the beginning of our podcast, everybody, the people who were speaking, all took pain to be the catalyst of their causes.
Yeah.
And so many times we are ashamed by our stories.